Alright guys, yo, what up? So it's been a while since I done a video. I know. And now, first let me start by saying I've gotten all of your requests and stuff. It's like, do a reaction to the new Asia Godzilla trailer, do a reaction to the X-Men. Unfortunately, I've seen all these trailers. Now, the reason I did not do any reactions to them is because I've been having problems with my computer, and I have not been able to, and honestly I didn't want to keep waiting on it, so I watched a lot of these trailers on my tablet and other stuff. But got a new computer, which is being set up personally, so I'm still going to, so I'm still my other computer. But now that I have my new computer, I am back and ready to do videos. Now, first thing which I got tons of requests to do this to was the big announcement last weekend for the Justice League. Now, I could talk about Star Wars, which I'm a gigantic Star Wars geek, but I honestly don't want to do any reviews and talk about any of the Star Wars casting or any of this stuff. I'd rather just wait until I actually have something definitive in terms of plot line and footage and things like that, things that are definitive to talk about when it comes to Star Wars. So I'm waiting a while on that. But let's talk about Justice League. DC and Warner Brothers here. So as you all know, last weekend they announced that essentially we're going to get a Justice League film in 2008. Now, it had been talked about before we had gotten that announcement. I remember a while back there was they said we were going to get Justice League in 2016. Oh wait, no. We were going to get Batman and Superman, then we were going to get a Flash movie, then we were going to get a Justice League film. Now we're just going to get Batman and Superman, we're going to get a Justice League film. And of course, Zack Snyder is going to be continuing from Batman and Superman. He's going to direct it. And there's also talk, and it seems like there's also a lot of rumors that it's going to be back-to-back shot with Batman vs. Superman. Now, here's the thing. I should be as you guys all know, and I've stated this before, I'm a huge DC fan. I'm major on DC. I love everything. I love the DC universe. Superman being my favorite comic book character. Batman being the second. Also, like I said, I like Marvel stuff too, because the X-Men is my third. But DC is where I started out. Now, as a DC huge fan, or fan in general, I should be, right now, with that announcement, I should have basically gone through the roof. Like, jumping up and down, like, yes, which I was before, a certain thing. But with the light of a lot of things, announcements, and things going on with Warner Brothers, I can't be like that, because I'm still beyond worried with Batman and Superman. I am not even sold on that film. And then we have Justice League, and we got all these characters being added. Diana, Cyborg now. Probably, honestly, most likely the Flash is going to get a cameo on Batman and Superman. Most likely these other ones. Now, let me first start by saying, I started out with comic books longer when I was really young. Didn't know really anything about comic books. Didn't even know about superheroes until I first saw the original Superman film with Christopher Reeves. And I remember when I first saw that film, my eyes lit up watching this film. It's like being like, oh my god, like just blown away by this character of Superman. And I remember just many times just being like, yeah, it's like a little kid watching that film. And then of course, from there I got into the comics. And to finding out, oh, this is a comic book character. This is actually comics written for this character. And from that point on, I just grew and grew on the DC universe. And then Batman. And then when the Batman movie was made, finding out that there was going to be a Batman live action Batman movie, I remember being, as a kid, like ecstatic, like, oh, cool, this is awesome, and going to see it and just being blown away by the Batman film all together. The Batman Returns, and then of course the sequels and stuff that follow, but they weren't that great, really. And I remember as I got older, I had always thought to myself, especially as you've seen the cartoons, wouldn't it be awesome to see? I remember always thinking, well, it would be awesome to someday maybe see after those Batman films, like see maybe Flash or Wonder Woman or Green Lantern or all these, or maybe even see them all together in like a group Justice League thing. But I remember at the time thinking, but that probably would never even work. Then, of course, years went on, Batman disappeared, and you get the Marvel stuff. And then the X-Men movie popped up, which was really exciting for because I was a Marvel. I loved X-Men. And Spider-Man and all these. And I remember when I saw the X-Men movie, I think it was the first time it hit me that you could do a film that could have groups of characters of, because the X-Men really aren't superheroes, but they're like their own group together on this film, and certain things like that could work. And years pass, we get the Batman movies again, then we get a reboot of the Batman movies, and of course those blowing me away. And then of course we get Superman Returns, which I was beyond excited for, and that disappointed badly. And then we got to the 2008 era, which is when Dark Knight came out. But also when Dark Knight came out was Iron Man, and essentially which started to set up the idea of Avengers. And then we got the Incredible Hulk, which also had a scene in that. Then we had Thor and Captain America, and when finally Captain America hit, we got that teaser for the Avengers. And then we got the Avengers film helmed by the man Joss Whedon, because Joss Whedon is the man. Firefly, greatest thing ever. And after seeing Avengers, it dawned that yes, a Justice League film can work. Films like that of a team-up can work. The problem behind that is the people in charge of this. Now, the reason why I'm not ecstatic about this, now, first of all, let's look at this real quick. Man of Steel came out last year. We essentially 2014 and 15, Batman Superman is coming out 2016. So essentially for the next 2 years, there are no DC films. I look at it that way. There's no DC films. Nothing in between. No Flash. Nothing else. And then from 2016 to 18, once again, there's no DC films lined up. So essentially, between the next 5 years, there's one DC film. Between 5 years from now into Justice League, there is one DC film. Well, actually, not 4 years. Because 4 years. There's one DC film coming out. One. You want to make a Justice League film, you have all these other characters, and you can only manage to make one DC film. Now, people use the excuse DC can't afford to do this stuff like Marvel can. Well, you know what? Just dig DC. First of all, let's narrow this down quick. I see people come out and they say, oh, DC fails, screws up. No. First of all, let's hold this right here. DC has never once failed at making a movie. Now, I just made that statement, and some people are probably like, "Are you kidding me? Did you see Green Lantern?" Yeah, I did. But let's look at it this way: DC, in general, is not involved in these movies. Warner Brothers is in charge of these movies. The only thing remotely that DC has association with these films is their name, because the DC writers and producers of the animated series and the comic books and stuff, the illustrators have absolutely no say in what goes on in the movies. None at all. So when people say DC fails, no. Warner Brothers fails, because it's not like where Disney actually gave Marvel their own studio and put Kevin Feige in charge and said, Feige, this is all yours. Marvel, you guys do what you do. Just be you. We'll just write you checks. No. Warner Brothers has a bunch of people in suits who think they know DC and think they know comic books when they really don't. And essentially what they do is they see other people do it, and then they try to do it by writing checks and throwing money and hiring people to do it for them. Essentially, sometimes these people should be doing. I mean, if you want an example, Green Lantern. Green Lantern was basically a film that had business suits written all over it. And in all honesty, I blame that film. I don't blame Ryan Reynolds for that film. I didn't think it was a good Green Lantern. I blame the studio for the biggest part. I blame Warner Brothers biggestly for that film, and of course, and writers and stuff, because they hired these people. Problem I'm having with this Joe Justice League thing is, one, Batman and Superman, I can't even comment on that because all the shit that has been done with it, and I'm seeing, I really have my excitement when I first heard about it is kind of down. Put it this way, when I first heard about that, it was up here. When Ben Affleck was announced, then it went down to here. Then and as more and more of this stuff has been announced, I moved to about here. While I'm going to see Batman and Superman, I can't say that I'm beyond blown away or excited because, one, at this point, I have to see footage. I have to see footage. And what worries me even more is this whole Justice League thing is resting on the shoulders of a film that most DC fans don't even believe is going to be a great film. Most of us don't even believe Batman Superman it's going to be a great film because of all this stuff. Nobody likes the casting. Everybody's confused as hell of what the hell is going on with the film. And you essentially, Justice League rides on a film that nobody has faith in at this point. I'm a DC fan. I don't have gigantic faith in this film. I'm hoping this film blows me away and re-energizes that faith I have, and that my love for the DC films and universe. But it's not there because you're basically, Warner Brothers is riding on this film, and as I said, a film that, if this film, put it this way, if Batman and Superman fails, the DC universe is dead. The DC cinematic wise is dead. DC films will not are gone. Batman's dead for who knows, and essentially you just ruined Superman, and which would suck for Harvey Keitel because he did a good job in the Man of Steel, and it was a good film. So eventually this would screw him over too. And honestly, if Batman and Superman fails, my enthusiasm for any DC films is going away. And at this point, I probably after that won't even care anymore. Won't even care about DC comic film because it will prove that Warners are fucking idiots and do not know how to handle the property that they own. And in all honesty, if it fails, I would rather see them sell DC to someone else. Seriously. Put it this way. If Disney owned DC, and I'm not going to say this because the whole Marvel thing, we would have sold so many more films, and they would most likely let DC handle it. Oh, 1 second, guys. Alright guys, I'm sorry about that. I'll put it in probably an annotation to just skip forward. My computer, just my other parts of my computer just arrived, my monitor and everything. So sorry about that. I had to deal with that. But back to this. Yeah. So essentially we're dealing with Warner Brothers that has had no idea how to run this. Now, at this point, what I think and what most people think is what Warner's really needs to do is just go away from the DC films and literally give the DC films to DC. Because Warner Brothers, you know nothing about comic book movies. You know nothing about how they handle this. All you do is you go out and you find directors, you find writers, and then you throw around this other shit that you wait until other studios do and then decide to do it. Now here's the thing. Now Zack Snyder's directing Justice League film. What is he? Seriously, he's done Man of Steel. He's doing Batman and Superman. Now he's going to do. I mean, literally, and there's nothing involved in between. If I was a betting person, I think that Warner Brothers wants him to do every single DC film. Like, are you serious? You seriously are going to listen like Goyer and I mean, I actually like Zack Snyder. I'm not dissing him, but you're going to let two guys deal and be in charge of this. At this point, why don't you just create, honestly, just create a DC studio aspect of this, and then let them deal with DC comic book films, because they will turn out, I guarantee you, a lot better when you have people. Because here's the thing, I'm not a big fan of Fergie, but I will say this for Fergie: he is passionate about what he does. He doesn't come at it as a money aspect, as somebody is like a suit. He comes at it as somebody with passion who loves these comic books. He loves the comic books and he loves these Marvel characters. That is what Warner Brothers doesn't have. I believe Zach loves this stuff, doing these things, but they need an actual people from DC in charge of this. Now, and like I said, at this point, I'm just going to have to wait, and essentially, this is what I hate: is I'm waiting to find out whether this stuff is going to happen or will turn out good. Because, like I said, we have to wait for Batman and Superman. That's basically it. I can't even have a definitive whether I believe the Justice League will work until I see Batman and Superman. Essentially, a film I don't even have a lot of faith in. And that's what's so annoying about this whole situation. But like I said, I mean, I can't say I'm through the roof right now, because I'd be lying. And like I said, when it comes to my reactions with my reviews, I'm giving you my honest of how I feel about these things. Now, I don't make it up. I'm not over exaggerating, but I give you an honest take on how I feel and what I think, and I think what even people I know, what I feel that they think, and kind of like what they do think and what they've even said to me. But yeah, Justice League. Are you excited for it? Do you have a lot of faith in Batman and Superman? Are you like me, just like hoping, like looking to the stars to hope that this all works out? Like I said, I want it to all work out. I want a Justice League film. I hope it happens. But we're playing the waiting game, because we know nothing with Batman and Superman. Most of us don't trust Affleck. I don't. I like him as director, but like I said, we're doing the rating game, and that sucks, but it's the way it is. So I will see you guys in my next video, which will be my summer preview, which is going to be recorded next. So see you guys then.